Travel&Things presents In Conversation With. And my guest today is Bruce Lawson. And Bruce comes to us all the way this morning from Adelaide in Australia. Bruce, good morning. Welcome to you.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone.
All the way from Adelaide in Australia, you snuck out of it. Knowing you probably walked. You found land bridges along the way and you walked from Hoedspruit to Adelaide in like a week and a half or something.
Yeah, David, I think it took me just as long with the first flight to Doha, then the 16-hour layover, and then the 11-hour flight from there to here. I probably could have walked it a bit quicker.
So now you're in lockdown in Adelaide, in a hotel room in Adelaide, and you're about to start a new challenge. Let me take people through a bit of your history. Beginning of lockdown, you decided that sitting indoors was not for you. So you walked 1,000 kilometers in 20 days because you had nothing better to do. You've walked Cape to Cairo, unsupported, except by your legs, of course. And then it turns out that you and your wife walked a 1,200 kilometer hike through parts of Australia. Don't you have a car, or do you just have nothing better to do?
No, I've got a car, David. I just don't have money for fuel.
So now you have come up with a new challenge, and tell us a little bit. Let me get to that particular screen here, and you can talk us through this Jimbo Africa Foundation. I'm hoping I pronounced it correctly.
That's correct, yeah, Jimbo.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about that, and then tell us a bit about this Burpees for conservation.
Sure, David. Jimbo Africa Foundation was a foundation that was started last year when when myself and Sean, and then all the backups that we had with us, or who were walking all over the world at the time, we started the Walk for Hope, raising money for the food parcels for Tlokomela in the Hoedspruit area. So Jimbo Africa started there. Jimbo is a Tsonga word which means hope. So this is basically a Hope for Africa Foundation. I'm one of the founding members of this, plus a whole a group of other people as well. And yeah, we started this to help, primarily to help conservation. But in helping conservation, we believe that we've also got to help all the communities on the fringes of all these conservation areas. And by doing that, we'll be able to take the pressure off the conservation areas to some extent. So it is directly related to a Conservation Africa Foundation, basically.
So now this Burpees challenge. Firstly, do you know when and who started the Burpee?
No, I'm very embarrassed to say I don't.
Because
I do. Before you tell me who it is, I do happen to know his personality very well, and I think he is a very sadistic person.
Well, firstly, he was a physiologist that was based in America. He was the executive assistant at the YMCA. He was doing a PhD at Columbia University, and this was back in 1939, and he decided he needed a testing mechanism to test the fitness of people. His name, I believe, was Royal Huddlestone Burpee. And when questioned about the burpees in latter years, he was so apologetic that he'd invented this form of torture, but that gave him an all-round way of testing. They were looking for at that particular time, non-military people, if I remember correctly, who would be able to be tested. So your general population, and how they could have a means test for fitness. And he came up with this rather sneaky cross between a push-up, a plank, and a star jump. And it is, as I say, it is said that he was very apologetic in his latter years because Nobody likes burpees, except
No, I don't.
Bruce Lawson.
I don't think you can use like and anybody, like burpee and anybody's name in the same sentence, including mine. David, I don't mind burpees. I do them, and they've become a part of my fitness program and the fitness that whoever comes to Bushfit with Bruce, part of their morning or whenever they come, their circuit training, because it is such a good exercise.
Yeah. But now you want to do 30,000 burpees in 10 days, and that means 250 per hour if you're doing a 12-hour day. Firstly, why only 12 hours? There are 24 hours in a day, Bruce. You could get this done much quicker. You could do 500 a day and nail this very quickly. So what are you going to do with the other 12? Sleep or walk?
David, I'll do 250 burpees an hour for 24 hours if you do 1,000 burpees a day with me.
As you said, Bruce will be working a 12-hour day. No, I was chastised severely some while ago for not doing a burpee correctly. And I decided, well, I'm sorry for you. I just won't do it anymore. I'll find some other means of getting fit. Bruce, is there a current world record, or how did you come up with this 30,000 number?
David, well, being in quarantine in Australia, I have to be in this hotel room for 14 nights. So it's just on 15 days basically, but it's 14 nights that I have to be. And I just thought, if I'm going to have to sit here and twiddle my thumbs for that many days without any incentive or motivation or anything like that, why don't I try do something that's going to be beneficial to something that myself and all my friends, colleagues, and everybody I've trained are exceptionally, and yourself, exceptionally passionate about, and that is conserving wilderness areas. So I figured I can't do anything. I can't walk around my room because it's not big enough. I'll get dizzy. So I figured, why not do burpees? Because if it was a small room, and I must say I've got a mansion here, if it was a small room, I could possibly move a bed and I could do burpees between the bed and the wall or something like that. So I thought, let's do it. And having set up the foundation, or the ladies setting up the foundation already, I figured, why don't we use it to raise money for conservation in the greater Kruger area? And so we discussed this a little bit, and then we came up with the idea of raising money for GKEF, which is the Greater Kruger Environmental Protection Foundation. And so all the proceeds from the burpees are going to that organization. But before we move and we get on to GKEF and all of that, coming back to the burpees. Now, a burpee, as you pointed out, is a cross between a push-up, a plank, what would you call it, a pike jump or a frog jump, and a star jump. But now this is a little bit different, the burpee that I'm doing. So the burpee that I'm doing is called a chest to floor burpee, where you have to lie down flat and you have to extend your arms sideways in the cross position, touch the floor, bring them back, and then do your jump. So you have to take all the pressure off your hands under your shoulders to start with. So it's just a different variation of the burpee. Now, to answer your question on the research is there a current world record? The short answer, no, there isn't. So I'm not breaking a world record. If this is all successful and once it gets verified by the Guinness Book of Records, it will be creating a new record. There are a lot of different burpee records, but none of them are endurance burpee records. They're all short-term or short time-based burpee records. So you have it for 1 minute, you have it for 1 hour, you have it for 12 hours, and then the longest is for 24 hours. There's nothing longer than that. So I thought I'd take the easy way out and not try to break anybody's record. And I'll just make my own record.
Fair enough. But Bruce, I know when you did the Walking for Hope challenge, you had people surrounding you, you had a team with you, you had people to look after you, to support you, to offer you incentive to keep walking. What's going to do that for you alone in a hotel room in Adelaide? How do people who are involved with this, like myself, for instance, I'm doing burpees at home. I want to know that you're actually going to be doing them for 12 hours and not just do 1, 2, and then fall asleep for the rest of that time and then wake up just before 12 hours and do 2001, 2002, and then you can go to sleep type of thing.
Fair enough. Very, very good question. And the answer to that is to go to the Burpees for Conservation website and to register. Well, this is what we want people to do. We want people to register on there. At the moment, we have over 20 different countries registered, people in 20 different countries around the world registered to do burpees. The whole point of it is not just to do the burpees, but obviously to get sponsorship for each burpee that is done, because it's great having people doing the burpees, and that's what we want. But we want the sponsorship of R1 per burpee. So go to that website, register on, there's a link there where you just press a link and you can register on that link to partake in the burpees, and you'll see at the bottom of that page, there's a graph of how many burpees I've done. There's a graph on how many burpees everybody has done in total, and then a graph of the money raised underneath that. And we're going for 1 million burpees collectively at R1 a burpee. So we're hoping to achieve R1 million by that. How people know that I'm not just doing 3 or 4 burpees, filming that and then just putting that on repeat. To be honest with you, that would never happen because I wouldn't know how to do that. So I'll just have to film myself and do it. And that is going to be a live stream on YouTube. The link for that is on the same webpage. So people can just tap on that and they can watch me 24 hours a day. No, sorry, make that 12 hours a day. Yeah. For as long as I'm doing the burpees, they can check in at any time and they can watch me doing those burpees.
Are you allowed? I mean, seeing you're establishing the record, are there any Guinness Book of World Records ground rules? Like, can you stop if you, in that 12-hour period, can you have a meal? Can you go to the toilet? Can you answer an email, for instance? Can you sleep?
Absolutely. So I've got 24 hours to do as many burpees as I can. Obviously, I'm trying to do 3,000 burpees a day for the 10 days. I don't want to do a minimum. I don't want to do less than 3,000 a day. So that is my minimum that I'm going to do to try and achieve over the 10 days. The rules for the burpees, yes, there are rules for the burpees. You have to lie flat. You have to extend your arms sideways. While these chest to floor burpees that I'm doing, you have to extend your arms all the way sideways, touch the floor, and then you've got to lift your feet off the floor when you jump. So that is what you have to do. That is the ruling of it. Now, how I achieve those 3,000 burpees in a day, there's no rule on that. Obviously, if I was going for a speed record, I would try to do that as quickly as I could.
Yeah.
I mean, the record for burpees in 1 hour is actually over 800. So that is doing a hell of a lot of burpees very quickly. I'm not 20 years old anymore, so I'm here for the long run, not for the short sprint.
You've got 15 days in lockdown, but Bruce, how do you prepare yourself mentally for a challenge like this?
Yeah, there's a tough question because I actually wouldn't know because good question, David. I don't know. And if somebody else knows, please let me know before I start on Monday. But I think what it is first of all, you have to believe in why you're doing it. What are you doing it for?
Right.
And the personal side of it is, I'm wanting to achieve a world record, but that is not my primary objective. My primary objective is to raise money and raise awareness for conservation. So that is my pure passion. That is why I'm doing it. So I think for anybody preparing themselves to do something like this, you have to believe in the cause, number one. And you've got to put that cause before self. And that cause is actually going to pull you through something like this, because I have no illusions of grandeur here. There are going to be tough times. There are going to be really, really tough times. And the only way I'm going to get through that is by focusing on why I'm doing it, and focusing on why I'm doing it rather than the discomfort that I'm in at the present. That is what will pull me through. And I think in preparing yourself, I didn't really have to do much preparation, because I'm here. There's nowhere else I can go. So I can die of boredom, or I can die trying to do good for a cause.
But now I know with Walking for Hope, you ended up having to have medical attention to your feet, and understandably so. What happens if something goes wrong and you need medical attention? Are you able to get that in your hotel room in Adelaide?
Absolutely. I think there straight away, you can't think of the what ifs.
Yeah.
Because if you think of the what ifs, you're never going to get yourself to that point. So what I've done to prepare myself, we started this kind of challenge, and the official go ahead to actually get it going was decided in early January. I started training this specifically for this burpee challenge in early January, on the 1st of January. And then I started seeing a sports specialist in Hoedspruit, who put me on a more natural diet to get my body to stop peaking with highs and lows, but rather to keep a very constant energy flow. So she's changed my diet there. She started giving me more techniques of how to do certain exercises to lessen the impact on the body. She also helped me with a lot of shock therapy and also with physiotherapy. I went to a physio there as well, into relieving the muscles, especially in the shoulder and the back, for that extension of the arms, which is it's not a normal thing to do. So I went for a lot of that. I had to lose a lot of weight, which sounds rather weird, but the way it was explained to me, that if I was 5 kilograms overweight and you multiply that 5 by 30,000, at the end of it, you're going to be picking up 150,000 kilograms over 10 days that you don't really have to do.
Right.
That made sense to me. So I decided now I have to lose weight. But the funny thing was, I lost a lot of body fat, but I didn't lose weight, which meant that I was picking up weight. I was putting on muscle in areas that my body needed that muscle. Okay. And in preparation for this, I've done over 42,000 burpees since January 1. So I've done a lot of burpees. I actually just did 800 here in the hotel room this morning, just to loosen up and get ready.
So that nobody's challenged you to shave your beard for conservation, have they?
They have, but I don't think I'm ready for that task just yet. That's a bit bigger than I can handle at the moment.
So the space in the hotel room, is it going to be in the same space every day, or maybe just to mix things up for yourself? Have you got a couple of areas that you can work in?
Yeah, David, that's why this morning I decided to do these burpees and just see where I can do them and how I can do them. I don't have a huge amount of space. I've got a lovely balcony. I'm on the 18th floor of this hotel. So I have a lovely view of this really beautiful concrete jungle out here, which is really stimulating. And then I've got this big open floor space behind me. but I don't really have much more space than that. So I might be able to move around in a 360-degree and do 100 burpees this way, 100 burpees that way, but I can't really move anywhere else. So I can either look at the northern wall or the southern wall, or I can look at the concrete jungle to the east, or I can look at the bathroom to the west. But other than that, I can't really go anywhere now.
Well, at least you know that there's no dangerous game hidden in your hotel room that may come out and bite you while you're busy doing this challenge.
That is very true.
The challenge starts on Monday. Are you starting South Africa? Are you working to South African time, or are you going to work to Australian time, Bruce? For people who want to join in, obviously you're in Adelaide time, as we discovered this morning, because you and I have been trying to get this together for the last hour, trying to figure out who's in what time zone.
David, that is actually a very, very good question, because it still confuses me a little bit. I will be starting in Adelaide time, so Australian Central Time. I will be starting at 4 a.m. on the morning of the 15th, which means that the official start time that it will be on live streaming on YouTube is going to be at 8 o'clock, or at 7:30, 8 o'clock on the 14th. So if you and the viewers would like to link in to see that, they would go in the night before.
Yeah.
Not that they have to do the burpees then. They will only start the burpees the next day. If they're going to take up that challenge, they would start the burpees on the 15th. But I will be starting on my 15th, but it's going to be live streamed for 8 o'clock South African time.
Okay, so and for people who are trying to figure out the time difference between Adelaide and Johannesburg, it's 8.5 hours, as we finally Bruce and I figured out before we started this. Bruce, I'm assuming that people who are going to be out there and who are going to be raising money, it'll be on an honor system. Not everybody is going to be filmed 24/7 during the challenge.
Absolutely.
And if they go to whoever's sponsoring and say, I've done 40,000 burpees, give me 40,000 Rand, it's their conscience if they only did 1.5 type of thing.
Absolutely, David. The onus is on me to be, and I'm not calling anybody dishonest, but I'm the one who's going to be televised, and I'm the one submitting for the world record. Yeah. So mine is that's why I have to do it, because it has to be verified and every burpee has to be counted. But what we would like viewers to do, so if you want to take up the challenge and you can't do burpees, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just talking in general. Yeah. If a person really wants to take up the challenge and cannot do burpees, they can either sponsor me, or they can find somebody who can do the burpees and sponsor those people, or they can just outright give a donation. Obviously, we want as much, healthiness isn't a good word to call it, but we want as many people to do burpees as possible. Yeah. Because it's a healthy exercise to do. However, the money is the ultimate aim of the game. So we definitely accept donations without a doubt.
I remember years ago when growing up in Port Elizabeth, I wanted to join the NSRI, National Sea Rescue Institute. And I discovered before joining that one of the challenges that you have to do is fall off the back of a boat under speed. Yeah. And if anybody's ever fallen off a boat or skied and let go, you know that hitting water is not soft. It's like crashing into concrete. Yeah. So I decided just to give them a donation, which was the easy way out. And I'm glad you brought that up, because there are people hopefully who are going to be watching this going, I'd really love to participate, but I can't physically for whatever reason. And rather than tag somebody in their family and force them to do it, people have been in lockdown long enough. They want to get out now. Direct donation is the way to go. Just going back to Walking for Hope, if I may, Bruce, how much money was raised? I know you did it across an inordinate number of continents, much like you've already alluded to here, 20 countries involved.
Absolutely.
I think you've tapped into something that has attracted people on many levels. And specifically in South Africa, those who know you know the legend that you are, and how humble you are in those achievements.
Yeah, David, the Walking for Hope. So just to give people who haven't seen your last or the this thing that you did on the Walking for Hope, it started off with 150 kilometers. That was kind of the challenge over 3 days. And then because I had so many people joining me and kind of picking up the baton, I decided to walk the whole distance for them of 1,000. So I backed all my backups up, who've backed me up over the years. And we managed to raise, was it 892,000 Rand? So nearly 100, nearly R1 million.
Yeah.
And that was started literally overnight. I told these friends of mine that I was going to do it the evening before, and the next morning I'd walked for maybe 3-4 hours, and they said, well, we've registered a foundation and this is who we're raising money for. So it started overnight, and we managed to raise 900,000 Rand. So we're hoping this time, with a little bit more lead in and getting all our ducks in a row beforehand, we are able to raise over R1 million. And yes, the more people who get in on this, the better it is for the whole conservation of that greater Kruger open system.
Yeah. The contact details, once again, Bruce, where do people go? The webpage, I think that's the easiest bounce off point.
Yes, so there's Burpees for Conservation. That is the website, Burpees for Conservation. Sorry, this is the Jimbo shirt,
Yeah.
but the Burpees for Conservation, or you can go to this Jimbo Africa Foundation, and there's a link there to the Burpees for Conservation site. So either one of those will get you straight into the website, and that will give you all the details. All the contact details are there, all the donation details are there, the challenge details are there. Absolutely everything will be there. My live screening will be there. Other people who are doing burpees, their videos will be there for people to have a look at. Everything will be there.
I think you're an inspiration. You really and truly are. But burpees, walking, now with you in Australia, I have no doubt that, I know you've done that 1,200 kilometer hike with Dee. I have no reason to doubt that you won't at some particular point walk Perth to Sydney or something like that.
I'm already, and please don't tell anybody this, but I'm already thinking of what the next one is going to be. And yeah, you mentioned it the other day when you spoke to me. I think it was a voice note that you sent me. Probably yesterday when I was in Doha Airport, I received it. You said, you have no doubt I'm probably going to walk around the circumference of Australia. Yeah. And that has been something that has been on my mind for 20 years now. But all I need is a sponsor, because that's not going to be a short-term deal. But if I got a sponsor to do that, put it this way, I'd consider it.
Bruce, I'm not going to get involved in the, I don't want de-phoning me going, what have you done to my husband? He walked off with a backpack that had a sponsor's logo on it and said, I'll see you in 3 years.
3, I think it might take longer than 3, but it would be great, it would be nice to, well, let's just think about something like that. Let's get through this one first.
Exactly.
And then if we're successful on this one, then we can look at the next one.
Bruce, I wish you all the very, very best for this challenge. I hope lots of people get involved. I hope that you not only raise the R1 million, but exceed it, because conservation, like the arts at the moment, with what's going on with COVID-19, is really sort of battling along to keep afloat. So Burpees for Conservation, go to the website, sign up, sign on to the YouTube channel, wave at Bruce while he's going to do one arm. 1 hour is what he's going to, he'll wave. He'll sort of leap into the air, wave at everybody, and then continue with his special for these special burpees. Bruce, always good to chat to you, my friend. As I said, I wish you all the very, very best, and I wish you major success with this challenge. And what we'll do is we'll catch up at the end of it. I know it starts on Monday. You've got 10 days to the 25th, 26th of the month. We'll catch up afterwards, and we'll get some of your highs and lows of what happened during the challenge.
Super. Thank you very much, David. And thank you, everybody who's watching and listening. And I can't encourage everybody to please just have a look at the website, the Burpees for Conservation website. Have a look at what is going on. Look at the support at the army that is following behind me, or some of them are even pulling me on. But have a look at that support group, see what these amazing people are doing. And please jump on board, support. It is for the greater good of conservation, which is not just for us, but more importantly, for the people we leave behind.